Hi guys, welcome to the flight today. As we're in the 727-200 and we're with Lufthansa down in Frankfurt, and we're going to be doing a flight down into Zurich, which should be a nice fun flight experience for us today. As we've got this old school lovely 90s livery for Lufthansa, and we fly down into runway 14 for the ILS. Now we're not going to use the SIVA, we're going to go VOR to VOR, then we'll intercept for runway 14 coming in on the ILS approach. So don't forget to like and subscribe guys, leave your comments down below, let's get to that 2k subscriber goal. And now we can get inside and start the aircraft up ready for our departure. So here we are now in the 727-200. It'll be a lot more simpler than the 747, as obviously it's a much more smaller aircraft. So we'll go over to the flight engineers panel. We can get the battery, which is on and guarded. We can get the ground power, which can go on, and get the standby power down to standby, which is our source. So we've got all of our lights on, which are checked. We can check the DC meters, which will be also set and checked for us today. So we've got all the DC meters here. We can check the battery as well, which will say is fine. From there we're going to go into the bus tyre switches. Breakers are closed after we get the APU, so let's go and get the APU all set and ready for us to go. We'll test the fire alarm. Start the APU. There's the EGT, and the exhaust temperature now starting to rise, which is fine, so we'll let the APU now start up. Once we do that, but the bus tyre switches will be closed on the relays. Now we'll be all set and ready to go. We're going for a flight of 250. So 250 is set. Coming out on the QNHs, we've also got down in Frankfurt, which is 1021. So 1021, which is set. 1021. Now 1021, we'll go over to the pressurization panel, and we've got 250. That should be set. 250 coming in is 1,400 on the cabin altitude. 17. So we've got 1420, which is also set and checked. Now the APU's come over, we can close the trip switches, which are set, and now we should be able to go over to the APU, which should be all set. APU master gen, which has already been closed. Navigation lights, which can go on. We can get the position lights. Navigation can go on. Beacons can go on. All of our logo, which is checked. Mode selectors auto. And we're going to get everything else already and configured. Here's our autopilot. We've got our nav selector. There's the autopilot. Then select. Now choose select, as we can see. And there is our pitch selector. So we can come out in indicate airspeed after we've retracted all of our flaps. There's vertical speed, and there'll be the vertical speed indicator for us right there. Which is all good for us to go. Flight guard switches to guard, which will be ground. So we've got ground on, which is checked. Flight landing cabin altitude is set. Air temperature selector made supply, which is checked. Get packs on, which can go all on, which are checked. We can get the OE outflow, which is normal and checked. Call-ins valves will be done here with the pressurization. Auto pack trip sledge cut out, which it has. Cargo heat outflow switch normal. Gas per fan is on and checked. Galley power can now go on, which is checked for 1, 2, 3 and 4. DC meter on for BAT. Which are all checked for us. Fuel quantity indicators test. Fuel shut-off switches are open, which they are. Hydraulic brake interconnect test, which is checked. And we are now going to get ready and set to go. Hydraulic system A is on. Ground interconnect is open, which is also checked. System B pump switches can go on as well. And CSD rear cooler is normal, which is checked as well. Boost pumps on, 1 per tank. So as we come down, we've got auto brake, which is going to be to RTO. As we come over, anti-skid, which is on and checked. Emergency exit lights can be armed. We get the window heat, which can go on now. Anti-ice is all off. Got our engine starts, which are right here. We do the stall test, light recorder test, which is checked. All compasses are on slave. No smoking can go on now with a fastened seatbelt. We can call the ground crew, tell them that we are getting ready to go. And we are now just about ready to fly off. So, flight directors can go on. Oh, that's altitude hold. So, flight directors will go on, set in some pitch as well when we do ride through. And once we come through, we should be all set to go. Leaving out of the runway on the courses, we're going to be leaving out of the runway heading, which is going to be 248. Okay, which is checked. There's our heading, which is going to be the 248 as well. Tugs are now going to drive us up as we get ready to go. So, as we've got everything all set, the trim set for takeoff is 21.4, so we can get the trim as well. It's going to be for around 21.4, which is also set and checked. B1 rotate and B2 is going to be for flaps 5, 138, 138 and 150, so we can set the bugs on there as well, which are going to be set. So, did press set the bugs. So we've got 138. Rotate at 138, call V2 at 150 plus 20 will give it, which will give us 170, and then that will give us a nice
okay, climb. All doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect, set, parking brake.
Okay, parking brake is set. And we are ready to go. Overhead is all set and ready. And tugs now going to lift us up ready to leave. So let's get ready now for our engine start. We can get everything all ready. I'm going to get all of the pumps on as we get ready to leave.
Now connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Okay, we can release the parking brake.
Starting.
Packs can now go off, which are checked and set. From there, the bleed air all open, PSI above 20, which it is. Beacon lights are on, engine 3, 2, 1 to start. So we can go overhead now. We're going to go to engine number 1, and we go to ground. So as we can see now, slowly on our RPM, we can see that N2 is pretty much increasing. EGT will rise once we get past through to 20%. We are now going to start engine number 1, and we're going to see it now start to increase. EGT will start to rise and will slowly increase, and we'll be all set to go. Out for our EPR, we've got 215, 97.4. And there's all our lovely lights test. You can see. And it's engine number 1 now is coming over. Okay, I'll go over for engine number 2. Though again, N2 is increasing. As you see the RPM lift. 20% will inject fuel, and we get engine number 3 on as well. There's engine number 2 now, come back, and we go for engine number 3. Okay, there's your pressure lights gone out for 1 and 2. As just passing now, ready for 20% N2, we can go in for engine number 3. We can see our EGT starts to increase, and we are on the rise. After start checklist, going to check the bolts. We get Gen 1, 2 and 3 closed, which we can set. We're getting ready to put us down. As we get ready to go, engine number 3 is just rising over.
Operation complete. Please set parking brake.
Okay, parking brake is set.
Disconnecting tow, stand by.
Okay, disconnecting tow. Engine number 3 now has come over, which will be set. Let's go to after start checklist, so we can set the AC bus, check that quickly. So the AC meters check volt frequency for 1, 2 and 3. Okay, I'm going to close the relay switches, which is going to be set, so we switch over the gens. AC meter for gen 3, which is in, we are ready to go. Galley power is on and checked, rainy boost pumps are all on, as we can see. Hydraulic A, which is all set and checked for us. Ground equipment is removed and doors are closed. That was going to be set for takeoff, flaps 5.
Tower is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. I'll see you next time. Have a safe flight.
See you soon, bye-bye. So as we get ready now to leave, we are all set and ready to go. Flaps are set for takeoff, flaps 5, wing engine anti-ice. We can check the temperature now. So temperature coming down is just about 10, so we should be alright for takeoff. Trim is set for takeoff, 21.3 on the max percent. Flight controls are free and correct, as we can see. Flight controls are free and correct. Everything else, pitos can now go on. The probes are set. APR bugs are set. System B hydraulics, all pumps are on. Engine 2 and the APU bleed. So as we go over now, go for the packs, which are going to be on and checked. AC packs, ground, spotlight switch is going to go to flight, as you checked. APU master can now go off. And we are just going to take us out onto the Lima 5, and we are leaving out on the runway 425 left. So let's get ready to go. Parking brake released. Okay, can close the APU bleed as well. As we taxi on through, ready to go. Engine 2 and APU bleed can go off for the bleeds, which is checked. As we come through, we're going to taxi down and taxi lights, which can also go on and checked. We can't get the runway turned off, so we really wanted just some extra lighting. Flight guard switches to flight, CSD oil cooler is off, auto pack trip select switch is normal, transponder ALT, and as we cross over now we're going to go for runway 25. So ALT, which will be TARA, everything set 250 as you come out. So we're going to take this left, we'll take a right, we'll probably have to take a left and come around the back end. So as we make this right hand turn now to come onto the runway, we've got the runway just in front of us now. As we come through, we get the 1159 on DME number 2 as well. So we can see as we've got 1 nautical mile, and when we leave out we're going to be making that left hand turn 1.5, so when we reach about 2, about 800 feet, we're going to intercept the 178 onto the 176 for RID. So on the course, going to get the 176 in, we'll line up for 25 left. So we'll stop here, get a parking brake which will be set, can get the strobes which are on, runway turn-offs are on, get the landing lights on in just a few moments time. Going to have a full takeoff, CSD oil is off, which is checked. As we come to auto pack, trip select is normal, which is up here, auto pack trip select, which is all good for us to go. Also got our landing lights which are going to go on, strobes and taxis, and we are pretty much all set to go. So we're going to be going on to the 176, which is going to intercept us in, and that is going to be for Seoul, which is the 1122. So there's the 1122. Get our landing lights on. Going 2.15 on the EPR, so we can release brakes. And power on up now. Full pressure on the yoke. And toga. Okay, power back. Just for our thrust. 80 knots. 80 knots checked. Back on the column. There's 1.0.
Rotate.
Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Okay, so when we get to 2 nautical miles, then we're going to rise through. We can reduce throttle now as we go into a climb. And we're going to that left hand turn now to intercept in forward 176. And as we made a 176 turn, we're now going to switch on to 1159. Now we can see we've got the 1122. So as we come around now, swinging around onto that bend, and just slow our speed down just a little bit as we come in for 250, slowly just climbing through for around 1,000 feet per minute. As we hold through now, we're just going to put on the head and select, so we get the autopilot in, put on head and select, which will be set. As we come down at vertical speed, we can tell the aircraft to climb up. And now what we can do is get the 1122 in, which is set, and we're also going to get the VOR lock in there as well, which will get us there. So nav lock, and we'll now intercept on for Seoul, which is going to take us on to the 176. Passing through now, we can just increase speed just a little more as we stay round for our flaps 2. As the aircraft lines up now, we are currently 11 nautical miles from Reed, so we'll go to acceleration speed, go to flaps 2 and to flaps 1 to take us to up. So we're going to the nav lock now, which is the BOR lock, or the BOR lock which is in, passing through 4,000 feet. As we increase speed just a little bit more, as we start to rise up, we'll aim for 250, come up for around 3,000 feet per minute. The aircraft's just slowly starting to accelerate. So can move our speed up to 250, which will be set. Now let's get to 250, we've got IES mode in and we're all set to go. So after takeoff checklist, gear is up, and off, which is checked. Auto brake, which is off, we can get that off as well, which is off and checked. Runway tunnel lights can go off. There's 250 now, so we've got IS mode in. Now the aircraft will hold 250, and we'll go up onto our max climb. Again, just lower back on the EPR now, as we're going up for around 4,000 feet per minute, which is going to be too much for us. So as we lower back now to around 1.84, the aircraft will come down to us. So we should now start to stay for around 2,000 feet per minute. As we climb through 250, now we're going through 7,800 feet. Runway tunnel lights can now go off, which are checked. After that, automatic trip select cut out. So, as you can see, automatic trip select is cut out, which is checked. From there on the climb, the autopilot is engaged. We'll climb thruster is set. Pack cooling doors adjust. Close. The temperature is under 40 degrees. Or is it under 40 degrees? Below 40 degrees Celsius. It says close. I'm going to let everything get done automatic, as I don't want to mess things up too much. So everything's all there. We've got the packs on, which I set. We've got 250 coming through at 9,008. Over to 10,000 feet. Turn the landing lights off. We are currently 2 nautical miles. We're going to carry on the same heading as the 176 as we leave Reed. As what's going to happen now is, as we leave Reed, we are going to go basically 20 nautical miles and around 8.3. So we're doing about 28 nautical miles from Reed. That will be Necking, and then we'll go to our next VR point, which is going to be Seoul. And Seoul for us is going to be down on the 11610. So there's the 11610, which is checked in. When that comes to life, that will come in on DME number 2. So the aircraft's going to hold its current track, which is the 176, something which the 747 doesn't do. As we can take that off, it doesn't matter, it's still going to hold its current track heading, which is a nice little feature for it to do. So now we're leaving the Reed VOR, and now just come up for 5 nautical miles out. As we climb, flaps are fully retracted, landing lights are on and checked, passing through transition. We can now go to 1013, which is 29902. Okay, which is south, go down to the reserve side. Okay, 1002, which is all set, and 25,000 feet, which is all going to go on as well. So, we've got 25,000, which is already in, and we are now ready to go. So, I'll leave you with the takeoff cinematics, guys, as we've been rolling 20 nautical miles out. And once we get near to our top descent, which is not going to be very long, we'll then get ready to come down. Ready to go onto the ILS runway 14 down in lovely Zurich. So don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, and I'll see you when we get back in the flight deck. Hi guys, welcome back to the flight deck. As we're currently at flight level 250, and we're just getting ready to make our left-hand turn to intercept onto the 275 radial course, which is going to bring us in. On the arrival, we're going to come down to Zurich East, which is on the 110.05, which we've got in and checked. We're going to go in on the 275 track, and then we're going to make a left-hand turn onto the 232 to intercept Cloton onto the 114.85. So once we've done that, we're going to slip onto the 334, and then once we get just past Transandian on the 1143, we're going to make a left-hand turn, max 210, to intercept onto the 135, which will be the 11175. So as we can see, the aircraft now is making its left-hand turn now to intercept onto the VOR lot, which has now gone in green, which is checked, and we can now start to make our descent down. So when we're coming down to the east, we need to be at 7,000 feet. So we'll drop down to 7,000, we'll go through our descent checklist and get everything all set and ready to go. So there's 7,000 feet. You can put altitude select on, put the indicated airspeed mode on, should have had Mach hold. Now the aircraft's going to start to descend down, as we now start to pull our speed back to around 270. So just throttle back and the aircraft can now start to go into its descent. As we have control, we don't have no auto throttle, so it's just like the 737-200 Classic. We are using our throttles and thrust to get everything all prepared on our speed. So 1602 for 200 foot. So 200 foot, which is going to be set, which is all said and done for us. As we now go into our descent checklist, passing through flight level 245, we can now start to pull back on the throttles. As we can see, we are just 72 nautical miles away. So coming in for our descent checklist, we've got the ASUS weather, which we're going to get. The approach briefing has been checked, so we're coming in from Zurich East. Got the instruments and radios, we've got 111. The small 75, which will come up on DME number 2, which will be for the airport. We're currently on now intercepting onto the 275 to bring us into Zurich, as we currently pass now flight level 240 and start that descent down. Onto the flight altitude hold, which is off on the descent. Weight and balance is checked. We've got wind and anti-ice, cowls are on. Landing data and speeds, we're coming in for a flaps 30, which is going to be 129. We can check in on the METARs now. METARs down in Zurich currently are variable 3 knots, so it'll be 134 we're going to be coming in on the arrival, which will be set for us. As we now just line it up for the 275, we can see on the RMI, which we've done the tutorial for the 747. QNH is 1025, we are going to pass transition by ATC 7000, so once we pass through from Zurich East, be 7000 to 232, and then we're going to basically descend down for 4000 feet. So passing flight level 22 now. As we currently descend now 1500 feet per minute, 63 nautical miles away, and we're coming down to 7000 feet. So we're around 12,000 feet to go, and on our speed we're just doing around 270. So from there I've got radio altimeter, which is set, landing data and speeds, which are also checked, EPR for go around, which we set, boost pumps are all on, everything over on the flight. First flight engineers panel looks okay. Coming for the auto brake, we're going to come in for auto brake medium, as we can say minimum, as we're going to be rolling down part of the runway anyway. The back trim select is auto, and we are now already and set to come in. We've got everything set over here on a pressurization, and we are all cool to go. So boost pumps and everything is all on. So we are now set on the descent, passing through flight level 200 now, on our way down into the lovely Zurich. As we pass the 275, we can see that we are going to make that left-hand turn to the 232. We'll go to Clogton, which is the 11485. So we can just keep track of that. So we are just 67 nautical miles, so just 10 miles away from each other on the BORs, as we can see, just around 13.7. Passing through 19,700 feet now, as we start to come down. 1,500 feet per minute. And we're coming down for 7,000 feet, which is also in and checked. Altitude hold is off now. Over on the flight director side, and we can slow in on our pitch. So this is all to do with the flight director. It's not going to intervene pretty much with anything. All of our main systems for the autopilot are all here. So we're in VOR lock, altitude select is armed, and we're coming down on the IES indicated airspeed hold. So it's going to hold our current airspeed and descend as rapid as it needs to hold L270. That's through 18,007 now. Still around 1,500 feet per minute on our slow gradual descent. As the aircraft's taking care of our pitch through our thrust, we should be all good on the descent to come in. We've got our cross feeds are all done, fuel heat is off, auto brake can be set, which we've got to minimum. As we're coming in for 134, and it's going to be a long runway anyway, so we don't need to power too much. It should be all good for us. Coming down in nav mode, and the aircraft's now lined up onto the 275. We've got variable winds at 03, temperature's 17, As we can see, temperature just slowly coming back up now, near to 5 degrees. Broken clouds at 7,000 feet, as we can see, as we just come in ready for the arrival. So, if we was to turn off our main lights, you can see we've got some lovely glare in the cockpit as we come down, passing through 17,002. So basically, this light is basically the light override. It just lights everything up, so you can see everything. So as we come down to 7,000 feet, just passing 16,009, 40 nautical miles to go. As we now start to just pull back on the throttle just a little bit, as we don't want to go to idle, as that's the alarm going off. Now the aircraft should start to descend just that a little bit more. Could open up the speed brakes, but we're not going to bother. We are going to arm them, which are set. Let's pass through 16,004. And we've got lovely X-Enviro along with our cloud glare from the sun. Visibility 6,000 meters, shallow fog, which was a few hours ago. So we should be alright on that front. QNHs, as we said, coming down for Zurich are 1025, so we'll make sure we get that in at 7,000 feet when we start our descent to 4 when we leave. Only 40 nautical miles. Speed restrictions are 210 on the left-hand turn as we come round. So once we come up on that left-hand turn, it's 12.5 nautical miles, and then we're basically going to make that left-hand turn. So once it's 12.5, we're then going to basically make the left-hand turn out from the Kilometer VR, which will take us down max 210, and this is our initial approach fix, the Zulu Hotel 714 max 210, as well, that was the Relax arrival. We was originally meant to come on the Relax, but for some reason the BOR wouldn't track in. This is DME, so we had to come in for the Zurich East, which was then going to bring us down. That's currently 36 nautical miles, just passing 14,000 feet. Should be a nice arrival in as we come down on 1-4. You can see we're going to come in on the 135, which will be for 4,000 feet. We'll leave out on the 334 and then come back around onto the 135. There's everything set. Minimums is set for 200. And on our descent, 134 we said, so we're looking probably around 740 to 760 feet per minute on the descent down, passing through 14,000 feet. 33 nautical miles to go. The aircraft's coming down lovely and smooth, just passing 5 degrees when we switch over the anti-ice at 10. So the temperature's slowly increasing now as we're slowly coming back down to Earth. VR locks fully engaged. As we come through, if we wanted to come down on the pitch command, basically would adjust our thrust, etc., to come down to our desired vertical speed. So we're currently coming down for around 1,500 feet per minute, 30 nautical miles to go. Auto brake set for minimum. Passing transition level standard to QNH will be 1025. Below 10,000 feet, it's going to be landing lights on, fasten seatbelts which will be on. And everything is all on overhead, so we are all good to go on that front. As we can see, everything all over. As we get ready and set for a lovely Zurich, passing 12,003. If we wanted a steeper angle of descent, we could slow down, but we're going to get down to 7,000 fine. Once we get down to Zurich East, we're then going to slow down, so we're going to 250, which is right here. So we can start to slow the aircraft down, we can open the speed brakes, which is going to help to stop the aircraft levelling off so fast. And then we can carry on back into the descent. So speed's coming back down now, near for 250, we can slow that down to around 24. As we come through 11,003, we can get the speed brakes back in, they can be armed. Our vertical speed will now start to increase just that little bit more. Done for our landing checklist, as we've got everything done on the descent. And the gear will be down, 3 green, flaps, etc. Approach altitude and runway tunnel lights, hydraulic and press and quantity, so pressurization and quantity. We'll check the pressure for the hydraulics. 22 nautical miles, passing through 10,000 now, so we get our landing lights on, which are checked as we are all ready to come in. As we're slowing for around 230. As we've got our landing bugs set as well when we come in. So that'll be our clean speed, I should imagine. That'll be our flaps 15. And then that'll be our full track for the VREV. So we've got 129. We're coming in on the VREV plus 5. So it's going to be around 134. It's going to be about there. So it should be all good to go. We'll raise up our flaps 15 just a little bit higher. We'll take it to around 150. Flaps 15, which should be all good for us. As we come through 9,008 now. Just adjusting on our throttle. As we've got 7,000 feet, currently 18 nautical miles. As we adjust through, we can go down to 4,000 feet, which the aircraft will adjust itself to, passing through 9,005. So if we were to put in a little bit of thrust now, we can control our rate of descent. As we're still 17 nautical miles to go, we can just slow down that a little bit more by increasing thrust, and that will then increase our vertical speed as it keeps for 230. So as we pass through the lovely clouds now, 9,000 feet just descending through, so we can carry on down now for 1,000 feet per minute. As we make the left turn from Zurich East down to Clocken, it's going to be right here, and that's where we'll then slow down. As you can see, we're not too far now, ready to intercept. Then we'll slow down and get it through 12.5 DME. We're basically going to make that left-hand turn, as we can see, 12.5 DME, right to 334, which is going to be the 135 coming in. So we're passing 8,006 now. As we brush through the clouds, need to stay above as we've got for the terrain 2,000 feet all the way around. We've got terrain around in the vicinity 4,003, so we're coming over from this side. We've got 2,000 feet full terrain, which is therefore it's just passing through 8,000 feet now, so we can just throttle back a little bit more. Clocking coming in is the 11485. And there's 11485, and that's the localizer that we're going to switch over to once we leave out. So we'll switch over to this one, and then we'll switch to this one when we come in for the ILS. So we're just passing 7,008 now. Going to ease up on our thrust so we can just pitch up just that little bit. As we're going to come down for 7,000. So we've got altitude select, which is in aircraft will level off, or if we had 7,000. So we've got 4,000 now. Once we get down to 4,000, the aircraft will level off, and we're going to hold 4,000 feet all the way round for that left-hand turn. So VOR locks now still engaged. As we come through, passing through 7,400 feet for 7,000 at the Zurich East, which is right here, and then we're going to make that left-hand turn onto the 232. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over to the 11485. I'll put the 232 in. Okay, which will be set. And now we'll get ready to wait for the aircraft to go into that left-hand turn. 18 nautical miles now, we can start to slow the aircraft down as we're going to come down for 4,000 feet. There's the left-hand turn as the aircraft intercepts. Inbound now to Clotten, where we are just around 17 nautical miles in to go. So just passing 7,000 now. As the aircraft's just going to establish itself to get the needle moving, and then we can move over back to the 232. Slowly starting that descent now. And just ease back on the throttle just that a little bit more. Now we can start to come down. 4,000 feet we're going to come down for, passing through 7,000 now. We can go to 1025, which is in, and on the reserve we can get 1025, which is also in and checked. Over on the first officers we've got 1025, which will aircraft will be set and checked. Currently 13 nautical miles now. As we ride through, passing through 6,700 feet. We're now intercepted on board to Clotten for the 11485, and then we're going to swing round onto the 334, and then just as we make our left-hand turn, we can then basically come in and switch over the ILS onto the 11175. So 10 nautical miles to go. You can see over the altitude, etc. 2-3, we should come straight through the mountains, 2,000 feet. With the airport's elevation, 1417, so it'll be around 4,000, just under. It should be alright for us. We can see the airport in sight as well. As we're going to make a right-hand turn, and then we'll intercept back around. It's coming through 9 DME, passing through 5007. And we start to lower the aircraft's speed down to 200. Currently holding at 5006. Now in just a few moments time we are going to go on to the heading, which is going to be the 334. So I'm going to put the heading in first, which is going to be just around here. Then when we get a little bit away from the VR, we can track it. 6 nautical miles to go, just slowing down now. We can go into a flaps 2. Speed brake is armed. Landing lights are on, along with our logo lights which aren't checked. As we continue the descent down to 4,000 feet now. And we're going to hold for 4,000, which we set. Four nautical miles to go. And we've got the 11175, which we can get in. And we push the switch over, which will then bring us over onto our 135 intercept. So we've got the 334 in as we get ready to intercept over from Clotten. 3 nautical miles. We could go on to the 334, which is setting. As we're going to travel outbound from it. And as you can see, the aircraft's now moving to intercept the 334. And we can see that the VR is behind us now, just as we leave, and on the RMI, basically see it's just over to the left of us now, passing over around onto 210. As we get ready to intercept now, 1,000 to go, we've got the call out which is there. We're going to hold 4,000 feet. And we've got 210 max when we come in, and it's 12 nautical miles out from Clotten, where we're going to make that left-hand turn. So we'll start to decel the aircraft now. As we're at 4,005, we'll come down to flaps 5. As we get the aircraft nice and configured early, as we don't want to be waiting around too long, as the aircraft is quite a very big aircraft. So we don't want to upset it too much. As the aircraft's now going to make that right-hand turn to intercept. It'll probably go left to right a little, just as it's establishing itself to intercept the 334, so it'll go over to the right a little, and then it will correct itself over to the left. And I find that this aircraft does it best out of the 747 and the 737. The 727 actually tracks the VORs straight from one to another, actually like smooth. There's no problems at all on that front. So it's passing 4,000 feet now. We can start to introduce thrust. And we're going to be holding out for 12.5 DME, and then that's where we're going to basically make that left-hand turn onto the 135. So what I'm going to do now is, as soon as we are holding out onto the 334, I'm going to switch in the heading select, which is in. We're going to switch down to the 135. then all we have to do is at 12 DME, we go onto that left-hand turn to accept the 135, and we just switch over the ILS. And that'll be us all set to go, and then we can go into approach auto. As you can see here, we'll go into approach auto, and we'll be approach auto, the auto glide slope, and we'll be ready and set for the arrival. So we'll just introduce a bit more speed. Got 134 coming in. As you get ready to make this a lovely left-hand turn. So heading on the flight director, you can see 134. That's going to take us down. And we're just holding out as we just control our speed, ready for that left-hand turn. So we're just coming up for 9 DME. And then once we swing round onto the 135, which is right here, we can then get ready to intercept onto the localizer. So we're coming for around 170. So then we're just around 30 degrees off, which will be fine for us. So we can just reduce our speed. So we can stay back down for the 180, just around 190. There's 10 nautical miles. 12.5, we're going to make that left-hand turn. I'm not going to look at the Avi tab, so you guys think looking at that. We'll get this all done. So 4,000 feet, which is in, we're going to hold 4,000 feet. There's 11 nautical miles. And what we can do now is we can swing around onto that left-hand turn. Now we're going to switch the localizers over, which will be set. And we can also get in the auto glide slope, which will just pre-arm itself. We'll stay in heading mode as we come round onto that left-hand turn, which should be really nice for us to see today. So the autopilot and the ILS is all in, as we're just putting a bit more thrust now, holding on to a flaps 5 as we wait now to intercept. We're going to carry on that left-hand turn, then we're going to go round to around the 175, got 135 which is in, so we're going to be looking for around 165. So there's the glide slope coming. As we are ready to go. Just going to be waiting for the localizer. You can see the RMI, which is right there. So as we come round now, just wait for the localizer. The aircraft will then make a left-hand turn, and we'll be all ready and set to go, as we are on a flaps 5 and we are stable. Our thrust set, which is set 4,000 feet. And we're just waiting for the localizer now to intercept, and then we'll be all ready to go in for the arrival. So on for our approach checklist, we've got the landing lights which are all on and checked, get our runway tunnel flights on once we come down onto the approach. Currently flaps 5, holding for around 180. There's the localizer coming in now onto that left-hand turn. Can now just throttle back just a little as we now wait for the glide slope. So there is the airport and runway inside. The glide slope's coming in, so we're going to go to the flaps 15, gear down. As we come down for around 150. Glide slope's in now, aircraft is on its descent path, and we are all ready to go. QNH to 1025, which is checked, with the auto brake, which is set to minimum. We can put that to medium actually. Minimum set for 200 feet, which is checked. We can now get the anti-ice, which is off and set. Altitude, we are set and fine to go. As we now fire in on our speed, as we're going to come down for flaps 30. So there's our flaps 30 coming in, and we just hold on now as we just get the aircraft stabilised with our thrust, as we've got control of the thrust. As we come down for 143. Now there's around our 143, which is stable. We are fully configured down and established onto the ILS. We can now put out a runway tunnel flights, which can go on and checked, and we are fully ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the autopilot, and I have full control of the aircraft. So as we just keep on that descent profile, we're looking for around about 700 feet per minute, so we'll just lift up a little. That'll discontinue our speed just a little, and we can just make minor inputs on the controls. We're ready as we come down on the approach. The aircraft is nice and stable. Just get a little bit of trimming as we get ready to come down, and the glide slope's moving down with us, so we can now go down. So we'll drop our speed a little, as the throttles are a little different compared to the modern airliners. Landing gears down, 3 green. So we've got a little bit of wind to the left.
500. 400. 300. Minimums.
Continue.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay, speed brakes are on. And reverse accelerator. Full pressure on the yoke. And here we are in lovely Zurich, coming up for 80 knots. Reverses can be stowed. Brakes can be disarmed now as we just roll down. We'll take the second exit as we're just slowing down through 70 knots. And here we are, guys, in lovely Zurich. So as we get ready to leave off now, auto brakes can be disarmed, which are checked. We can get the speed brake, which is up and off. Can retract our flaps as we now make this left to right hand turn to come off of the runway. And we just see the glare on the windshield, the dirty effect. And I hope you guys enjoyed the arrival tonight. 727 is a really nice aircraft to fly, so we'll be flying it a little bit more of the old school aircrafts. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more of that as well. So just pass over Hotel 2 now. We are going to get ready to turn off the runway turn off lights, landing lights, taxis can go on, and runway tunnels can go on with our strobes can go off as we pass through now onto Julia, and we are ready to go into our landing cinematics. So hope you enjoyed the flight tonight, guys. Thanks for all the support you guys show, really appreciate it, and I will see you guys for the next available flight. So I'll leave you with the landing cinematics for the INS onto runway 14 into Zurich with the 727-200. So take care for now, guys, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye.